After several days of threatening rumbles, a volcano in Guatemala finally erupted. The mountain sent a column of ash 7 kilometers into the air on Sunday. Thanks for joining us. I'm meteorologist Nicole Karkic. Top stories we're following for you today. More cold alerts issued and still a cold alert in place for Toronto this morning. Temperatures begin to rebound and nor'easter potential into next week. We'll tell you about the setup into next week, which starts to see quite a pattern change. Satellite and radar showing some light snow around the Sudbury region towards the east. We've got Cape Breton dealing with some sea effects, so some snow flurries for you to start off the morning, as well as parts of Nova Scotia. The big story, though, this morning in the east is how cold it is. Nathan Coleman, how are you coping with the coldest day so far in many cities out there? Okay, good advice. And it's not lasting too long. We have to get through today. But currently, yeah, minus 14 in Halifax, minus 19 in Montreal. Still another cold day on tap for you. Toronto, colder this morning as the day goes on. We significantly warm up. The high will be minus 3. Start feeling closer to the minus teens across Newfoundland. Maritime provinces also really cold for you, so frigid in capital letters. I think that's a good way to describe how it feels out there in the east for you. Sydney minus 7 currently. Halifax, yikes, minus 14. And we've got Nathan Coleman braving the cold in Halifax this morning. Good morning, Nathan. All right, well, at least by then the sun is going to be out. It'll feel a lot better with the sun, but brisk temperatures for you. Anything in pink is where we have our coolest air in place across the east. It doesn't last long. By Wednesday, temperatures, look at that, bumping up to 2 degrees in Halifax. So this is very brief. St. John's minus 1, and then towards Moncton, you'll be minus 1, Edmundston minus 1 there. So yeah, it's not too bad. We're in the deep cold again for you in Quebec, however, a place like Montreal, but very quiet right here. Southern Ontario, also cold. Let's ask people how they've been feeling about this weather. All right, so temperatures do warm up currently. Yeah, it's still another chilly morning, but you'll see in your local forecast a big warm up by the end of the week. Glad you could join us. I'm meteorologist Nicole Karkic. Looking at Tuesday, we've got a few things going on. We've got some lake effect flurries this morning around Sudbury, North Bay as well, Wyerton too. And we've got temperatures are going to warm up in southern Ontario as the day goes on. A cold day again for Quebec, and this will be your coldest day of the week for Atlantic Canada. So the maritime provinces really frigid, and that's a good word to use. Fredericton this morning, you've been sitting around minus 18, and that is without the wind chill. By the afternoon, Halifax, you're going to be sitting around minus 8, and a big drop in temperatures almost by 10 degrees in St. John's, Newfoundland. Now for Wednesday, there's the return to seasonal values across Ontario and Quebec, and you get a lot warmer in the maritime provinces. So today, Halifax, you're minus 8. By tomorrow, you're going to be plus 2. So it doesn't last too long. What we are following, though, is some snow moving into parts of northern Ontario. Think Sudbury towards North Bay as we head into Wednesday through Thursday. Should be well under 10 centimeters. Then we're looking at a Colorado low coming through on Friday. Exact timing isn't 100% certain at this point, but it looks like it will start as rain in the southwest, then spread up as rain towards the greater Toronto area. Could see some mixing towards parts of Quebec, but the fact that we're seeing rain again is indicative of how mild it is all the way up towards ski country as we head into Saturday. But farther north, we're certainly looking at snow. Right now, a countdown to your locals on the 6s. Well, speaking of cold weather, currently it is a chilly one. Toronto minus 15, feeling closer to minus 20. Look at you in Halifax. It feels like minus 22 in St. John's. A drop from yesterday's high of plus 3 to, just feeling like minus 13. Where would we like to be? Well, why not Scottsdale, Arizona, where our very own Deb Mediechka is this week. All right, a little bit cloudy today in Scottsdale, Arizona, but it clears up as the week goes on. Top stories, more cold alerts issued. Temperatures begin to rebound and nor'easter potential into next week. We'll talk about that coming up. But as far as active weather goes, not much. Some flurries around Sudbury this morning in North Bay, as well as some sea effect around Cape Breton Island. Chris Murphy talking about the cold weather we have to endure for today in the east.
That's right.
Time now for Share Your Weather. Let's show the photos that you've been sending to us here at theweathernetwork.com. The first photo was sent to me into my Twitter account at Nicole Karkic. It's from Xander, who sends me and Chris a lot of great photos. So Orwell, Prince Edward Island. This is just east of Charlottetown, and you can see a very snowy looking scene. For the afternoon in Orwell, well, here's your daytime high. It looks like it's going to be our coldest day of the week for many of the maritime provinces. So -6 for that day daytime high, feeling closer to about -13 with the wind chill. But by Sunday, we really warm up to above the freezing mark. We'll be +3. So this is only lasting really for one day in the Maritime provinces. We take you to Kingston, Ontario. This is from Nicole. In the comment section of this photo, she said that her fingers almost froze off while taking this photo. Well, again this morning, it's feeling closer to about -20 in Kingston with the wind chills. So another cold day. And Angus, Ontario, this is from Greg, taken over the weekend, and he said this was an owl flying the snow squalls. So quite a beautiful capture right here. And then we take you to Alberta. Been getting a lot of great photos of the Aurora Borealis this week. This one, of course, another spectacular one from Roland sent to our website, theweathernetwork.com. And we'll leave you with this in Vancouver, a nice crisp looking scene. It was cold enough to see some scattered flurries in the Metro Vancouver area yesterday. Right now, your locals. All right, so Deb's spending time in Scottsdale, Arizona. Quite a nice gig. Across the country, we've got some cold air in place again from Ontario to Quebec, at least for the morning for places like Toronto. But it is a cold day in the Maritime provinces. So, Nathan, would you rather be in Halifax or Scottsdale, Arizona today? Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday. Our top stories, Chris.
Beautiful shot, first of all, that snowy owl flying through some snow squalls. More cold weather alerts, temps begin to rebound, and a potential nor'easter next week, Nicole.
That's right. Currently, though, Toronto feels like -20. Ouch. Montreal -27. Halifax, cold morning for you right across the Maritime provinces. And St. John's, yesterday you were +3. Now you're about -8.
Coldest air of the season has moved its way eastwards and back to seasonal values across the prairies. And watch for some slippery driving conditions in the lower mainland, potential freezing rain, say Abbotsford towards the Langley area. Even Victoria's had some flurries. But let's talk about the big story in the east.
Right.
Frigid.
Frigid in capital letters. This is your coldest day of the week. We really start to rebound by yesterday. Halifax will be 2 degrees tomorrow. Return to seasonal here, Ontario and Quebec as well, if not even above in some cases.
All right, now going forward, we're watching a system that'll bring some snow to northeastern Ontario Wednesday and Thursday, and then more Friday, Saturday. But for most of the bigger cities in the south, Nicole, this looks like primarily rain.
That's right. So
all back safe and sound. Now, when we come back, Nicole, we're going to talk about this because this is going to be a big story for next week for the east. Looks like winter coming back in full force.
All right, that's Deb Mediachka just outside of Scottsdale, Arizona, reporting to us here, back to us here at the Weather Network. Looking at our Tuesday conditions here. Cold, really another cold day in Quebec, but really frigid today across the Maritime provinces. Coldest day of the week, and another cold morning in southern Ontario.
Outside the studio.
Oh, that's awful. Okay, looking at this afternoon, bumping up to -4. So each and every hour, there's going to be a gradual increase in many cities. I mean, look at Timmins getting up to -2. Meanwhile, Nathan Coleman, it's your coldest day of the week. How are you going to cope? Well, speaking of cold weather, coldest day of the week for the Maritime provinces. Halifax -14 currently, but it feels like -22. We've got Toronto feeling like -20, and towards the west, Vancouver's around the freezing mark. But Deb Mediachka, she's got a good gig this week. She's been in Arizona. All right, so Deb Mediachka in Arizona. But for us, we're talking about cold alerts, not tropical weather. We've got temperatures beginning to rebound and the nor'easter potential into next week. Right now, pretty quiet across the country. We have seen some flurries around Sudbury and North Bay and some sea effect snow around places like Cape Breton Island through this morning. But certainly the cold weather is the story in the east. Chris Murphy joining us right now to talk about that. Southern Ontario. But for Niagara Falls, by the afternoon, that region will warm up to about -4. It's going to take a couple of hours and, of course, the sunlight through the day, but a lot warmer than yesterday across Ontario. We have seen a few lake effect flurries around Sudbury this morning in North Bay as well, and some sea effect flurries across Cape Breton Island and parts of New Brunswick. But boy, oh boy, it is a cold morning for you in the Maritime provinces. We're using the word frigid. It lasts for one day and then you warm up tomorrow. Kevin Yard, it's going to be a lot warmer for you tomorrow morning when you're standing outside in Ontario. Well, you might want to beat this cold weather this afternoon. Halifax, -8 for the daytime high. Coldest day of the week for you in the Maritime provinces. St. John's, a big drop compared to yesterday, -8. Toronto, -4 into the afternoon, and out west, Calgary, -8. Vancouver, 3 degrees with some showers. So how about getting away from it all and going to the Bahamas? Nassau, 23. We're seeing some showers there into the afternoon. If you're headed to Havana, it's going to be 24. Kingston, a hot 30 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud. All right, and where Deb is in the Scottsdale, Arizona region, a bit of cloud cover today, but it'll clear up into tomorrow and the next day, and the next day, sunshine, sunshine, sunshine. Now, for us in the east, we've got a cold day for the Maritime provinces. Your coldest day of the week. You warm up very dramatically into tomorrow compared to today. This afternoon, Toronto's -4, so that'll feel a lot better as the day goes on. But Kevin Yard has been doing a great job outside. She's gone to warm up. All right, looking at Quebec, another cold day for you. This afternoon, Montreal just getting up to -12, feeling like -19, but you really warm up into the next couple of days. As for the Maritime provinces, a difference of about 10 degrees into tomorrow. Look at Halifax getting up to 2. St. John's, you'll rebound to -1. Right now, your locals. All right, thanks for joining us. Looking at our current temperatures, well, it's pretty chilly here in Toronto, -14, feeling closer to -18, but a big bump up through the day. It'll get up to -3. Halifax, -14, St. John's from +3 yesterday to -9 right now. Where it's not so cold is Arizona, where our own Deb Mediachka has been spending some time. So that's near the Scottsdale, Arizona region, where they did see some rain yesterday. Some rain today again in Scottsdale, but it'll clear out into the next couple of days, and then lots of sunshine. As we look at our weather here back home, more cold alerts issued. There was one issued for Toronto yesterday, still been in place this morning. Temperatures begin to rebound, and nor'easter potential into next week. We've been talking about that this morning, a pattern change into next week. But for today, pretty quiet. We've seen some snow around Sudbury and North Bay this morning, some sea effect flurries across Cape Breton Island, but it's the cold that everyone's talking about in the Maritime provinces. Coldest day of the week. Montreal, -20 for you this morning, and towards the west, fairly seasonal in places like Winnipeg at -12 this morning. Vancouver, chilly start for you, +1. Winnipeg, -7 this afternoon. Calgary below average at -8. Usually you're -3, but then Toronto there, quite a rebound from this morning. Every hour you're going to feel it getting even warmer and warmer, which is going to be nice for us. But frigid in the east, cold in Quebec, and then into tomorrow we're going to see the rebound. But by next week, cold Arctic air comes right back across the Prairie provinces and starts to spread east. So we're going to be back to reality next week. Well, you might want to beat this cold weather this afternoon. All right, she's got the right idea. You know how many people I see outside when it's freezing and they have no hat, no gloves? I'm always like, you're crazy. All right, looking at the east here, we've got some sea effect flurries for Cape Breton. We've seen some snow as well around Sudbury and North Bay today, fairly light as the day goes on. It's frigid, though. Coldest day of the week for the Maritime provinces, but we rebound into the afternoon in parts of Ontario. -14, though, currently feeling like -18.